The next thing I want to ask you about is when you're writing a song, how do you decide, or even when do you decide whether it's just going to be instrumental, if it's complex enough, it says enough, or when do you say, I want vocals, I want it to say more? Like, when do you decide you're going to actually have vocals in the song? I'm a vocalist. That's why I'm asking.
That's an interesting question. And the answer is that it comes different ways on different days. It's not like, yeah, and sometimes I do have one song that started out that's going to be on this project I'm working on now called The Ghost of Jim Crow. And it definitely started out as an instrumental, and it's definitely got vocals on it now. So I think the music, it just sort of tells you over time. It's not like I sit down and sit down, because when I sit down, frankly, I don't sit down with an idea. I just
Okay,
sit.
I was going to ask you about this. Your writing
No,
process.
no. I just literally turn the instrument on and touch it, or just open up the guitar case and pick it up, put it in my hands, and start doing something. I don't really, rarely come at it unless I have something I'm working on, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a different thing. It's not like, you know, songwriting. If I have to learn something or something, I'm trying to sort it out. But in a normal just day, like I'm just, you know, okay, I've got time. I want to write something. I just I just start, and it will kind of tell you right away um, whether this wants to be just an instrumental situation, or maybe this is interesting enough to have some lyrical content.
Okay. Yeah. I grew up with an ear towards vocals, and I took vocal lessons, and I became about, when I listened to a song, I listened for the vocals or the words. And it's later on that I started really getting into the instrumental parts, or the stuff that isn't words. I think my graduation at that would be Brian Wilson's "Smile."
Mm,
Something about that, like, I figured out where words don't need to be.
right, right.
And he kind of taught me that. And then I re-listening to other music, I kind of moved on. I'm like, oh, I need to just get my ear away from what I'm used to.
But that's a great example. That album, and you know, Pet Sounds, and
Oh, Pet Sounds.
what the Beatles did. That sort of was an elevation of it brought more literacy to pop music. It sort of elevated it to a sort of intellectually, just a notch up. This is
I
not
agree.
just Moon June, Where's My Spoon kind of song about kids and love. This is like quite poetic and saying, you know, important things in a very interesting, you know, poetic way, which I think it elevated again the quality of the writing, of the lyrical writing in popular music.
How
And
often do you hear songs you're like, oh, I wish I had done that?
no, no,
Never.
never.
Like,
I
I was
hear
that
some
close.
songs. I'll tell you what. I hear some songs and I go, God, I wish I had the publishing on that song. Fucking huge. um,
Right.
you know, one of my favorite songs, though, that always touches me. I had the privilege of playing it for a whole year. What was it 2001 with Eric Clapton on tour? It's called uh, "If I Could Change the World."
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a gorgeous song. It took four people to write that song, and it is just beautiful. I got to sing backing vocals on it on
I didn't
tour.
know that.
It was in the set. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. So if I could change the world, I think he won a Grammy or something. You know, and he's been installed in the Songwriter Hall of Fame himself. But that particular song was brought to him by Babyface, Kenny Edmonds, and if you remember back then, Babyface actually produced the single. You know, if I could change the world, and did quite well. You know, chart wise.
Yes, it did.
And the year, yeah, and then the year
They're
that I,
still overplaying it.
yeah, and then, um, uh, you know, the year that I worked with them on that tour, yeah, we did it. It was in the set every night, you know. So, but I love that song. It's got a beautiful, the sentiment of it. This is just an example of a great um, lyrical content, and it's sort of some lyrics really just get to me. It was uh, the chorus part of it. I don't remember the verse was, "If I could change the world, I would be the sunlight in your universe. I mean, what a thing to say to someone. It's getting me right now. I'm getting choked up thinking, what a beautiful thing to say to another person, you
I agree.
know.
It's all positive and all you, and whatever
And
I
it's
can give, I would give.
universal, being the sunlight in your
Yeah.
universe. My God. Wow. Anyway, thank
There's a vocalist slash writer that every once in a while, and what I understand is he doesn't really write lyrics to mean something, but somehow they always end up. And there's a line about a smile as wide as the ocean,
uh-huh.
and I just love the imagery of it. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're here to talk about you, and I want to know you seem to be drawn to percussionists, and when
Hmm.
you want to write something, when you want to record it in particular, how do you pick up your phone and decide between Will Calhoun,
Yeah.
Vinnie Colaiuta, and Terry Bozzio? Like, you know that you have their numbers. You could call any of them and say, do this. Like, how do you pick? Like, you worked with the greats.
Well, that's very kind. Again, I think the song itself will tell you like
Yeah.
who might be into doing it and who could really do it really well. Yeah, so that's really good. Again, it's another case of the song giving you it's sort of telling you everything if you just spend enough time with it. Tells you
Okay.
everything, you know. And so that's a big clue. Like the nature of the song will go, oh, you know, like, oh, Vinny would just kill this, you know, he'd eat it for breakfast, or so and so would have a kind of different take on it. But you know, again, that's another. I'm very blessed in my life, professionally and personally, you know, to have access to so many um,
Just,
really high quality musicians that will work with me. You
I would love to go through the list of names, but I can't. There's not enough time.
know.
I thought about listing off just the highlights of your career, and I'm like,
Mm,
just what he's done solo with people is as impressive as what you've done with other people that people might know instantly.
mm.
Just and I think it's more obviously there's luck, but your work ethic uh, for your entire life has been off the charts. Nobody said otherwise. It's just you're dependable. It gets done. It's amazing, and that's why I'm so happy to have you here. And
That's
so thank you. It's been amazing. I was on Reddit trying to do some research, and they were talking about nicknames that the E Street Band and everybody Bruce works with gets, but nobody
right.
knew nicknames that you had.
Good. Thanks very much.
Confirmed. We can move on. Let's do
happy
this.
to happy to hear it.
I was like, I'm
Nick,
going to interview him. I'm going to ask, but I don't
no,
push.
I mean, no. I'm who did we all have nicknames at one point? I don't
And
know.
some
I
of
don't.
them changed apparently.
Well, okay. Here's a nickname I remember, and he's sort of famous for this one. But he's in print as Vinny Lopez in the E Street Band, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog.
Okay, that was his nickname for sure. Um, but I don't remember. You know, Bruce didn't didn't get called the boss until many years after that.
Yeah, that
But I,
was like
I don't know how that came up, but that was not a thing when I was around there. But no, I don't
do you know
remember.
if he liked it when it happened? I'm curious. Like people start calling him boss. He's like, stop that.
Say it again. Did
did
I?
he enjoy the nickname or did he push back on it?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he I think he just accepted it. I don't think he pushed back too hard. If
Okay.
he would have pushed back seriously, they would have stopped calling him that. It would have been over.
It's Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
True.
But he's pretty decisive. But I think I think he appreciated it to the level that it was expressed, and then that's kind of, that's it.
When one other thing I was looking up is Wikipedia, and I am pretty sure that you sat in with Paul Schaefer several times on David Letterman's Late Night Band. Did that happen? Can you
One
confirm?
time,
Because they can't find any verification in
yeah.
print or anywhere that you did.
Well, it wasn't several times. It was one time.
One time.
And the time that it was, I'm just changing my screen here. The time that it was I was with Sting. It was a stop on a tour. It had to be the early 90s. I'm trying to remember which record. Maybe it was 10 Sumner's Tales. It might have been that, or it might have been Soul Cages. Anyway, Sting was we were the musical guest, and he was doing a couple of sketches, in the thing. And so we were also, yeah, so we're the musical guests. So we had to do, and I think the song was called "Mad About You" that we did. I don't remember if we did two songs or one, but anyway, the idea was for us to interface with the band, with Paul Schaefer and the band. So it was myself and Dominic Miller and Vinny, and it was just like, oh, okay, you guys are just make one sort of band now, and that was it. We had one
Okay.
rehearsal and sort of worked it out. I think it's a funny thing about this, and no disrespect to anybody, but to tell it truly, I remember Paul being a bit annoyed because I think he wanted to do more, and we were sort of on autopilot at that time in the sense of like, okay, well, we know how this song goes, we know where all the parts are, and we're just going to
We practiced it this way.
yeah, and I think he was interested in having more of a, okay, well, you don't play that and I'll play it kind of situation. Whereas we just ended up all playing it. We played what we were used to playing, and they also, joined on top
Right.
of it situation. But I think it was it. And that was just a brief, moment of to where like, okay, well, you guys are gonna play like you're gonna play, and we'll just join in. But that was the only. I was not several. There was never another night or evening that I was, or as an individual, or we were as part of Sting. Part of that. We
Well,
we
I'm
did
glad
we played Saturday Night Live a couple of times.
I did.
That
You actually have an IMDb credit for it too.
that was great fun. That was really really good fun. We did it a couple times, and yeah, good memories of that.
I'm gonna
Producer,
actually go look those up.
Zaz here. Just a quick question. What
Yeah.
what place would you like to go back and play again? Like that was I was going to take some audience questions if we had a moment, but just one of those thoughts is like every place seems to be unique in their own way, own vibe. I remember like Austin going there for the first time, and that just feeling hits you like a brick wall when you watch just the energy of going from each place to play. Each place like has its own unique like energy to it. For you, like, I mean, obviously you've played everywhere. Is there any place you could bring back to, for that feeling, or along those lines? Where's your favorite place to play?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite. There's some really comfortable places to play big shows. Like I really like playing at Red Rocks. That's a
Oh
nice,
my gosh.
that's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
very cool venue. I played
It's
that a few times with a couple different artists, but it's yeah, stuff like that to where that's physically a fascinating place, The whole
yeah.
thing is like a cave underground and everything, and the
Yeah.
stage audience is great. So that's a good one. I like playing festivals in Europe in the summertime. I have great
Really?
memories of playing it, like in Italy, for example.
Now,
In
what
the winter,
makes it more unique and stand out? Italy festivals,
it's
Italian.
it's the place itself. It's the
Yeah.
place, and there's probably no more enthusiastic um, live audience on the planet than a bunch of Italians who've showed up to see their favorite artist. It's just
Yeah.
outrageous. It's really great.
That's awesome.
Mm.
When you were touring with Sting and Peter Gabriel, was the decision just to leave you on stage the whole time?
Oh, the joint tour?
Yeah, like you're the one person throughout both bands, right?
No, God, man, there's a funny backstory to that.
Please.
Should I tell it?
Yes, I think
Um,
you want to.
there was a little bit of confusion at the beginning of putting that together, and phew, it ended up that I ended up see, because there was another thing. I got to tell the story right, because it's not the Sting Paul Simon situation, which is a whole other bunch of stories, but the Sting Peter Gabriel, putting that together. At the beginning, there was confusion because, and I was going to do, yeah, they were going to do something like just leave me on stage for the whole time. But it got confused between what they were going to do about Manu Katché and Vinny. And it went from a sort of confused state to it became Now, who actually clarified it for us was a tour manager who's passed away now. His name was Billy Francis, legendary tour manager who worked with like Led Zeppelin, Paul McCartney, all kinds of people, the Police originally, or so. And he was our tour manager back then in those days. And I met him in '90 when we started doing the Soul Cages tour. But Billy actually was part of sorting it out. So no, I didn't get left on stage the whole time. It was gonna be like that, but the way that it worked out ended up okay. And it gave everybody enough time to sort of, enjoy everybody else, but still be a part of it, I remember the sound check when here was an example of like, okay, we're all here all at once now, because it wasn't certain songs. So Shock the Monkey, okay? When I did the previous tours with Peter, I used to play, he had me play acoustic guitar on I think the last tour or the one before, but I wasn't playing, it was like he had an acoustic version of it. And I was playing acoustic guitar on it, and Dave Rhodes was playing electric. And then we had a couple of versions, and of course, it was a version where I'm playing, keyboards on it. But on this version, on that together, so here's Vinnie Colaiuta's drumming. He had Peter had his other drummer, who's, forgive me, I can't remember, Jed. I can't remember his last name. Who's really good. So that's really like two bands at the same time, two drummers, two keyboard players, a Dominic's playing guitar, and we worked out this wicked, really funky version of Shock the Monkey between what Vinny was playing and what Peter's percussionist was playing. It was cool. So, it just took a little bit of organization. It was not, so it didn't become cluttered, but it was definitely conversation and just figuring out who's doing what when,
Yeah, no, I mean, just when I heard about that, I'm like, well, you were so instrumental with both of their careers at that point. Like, it's like they were fighting over, like, no, I want him here. Like, let's just leave him up there. Just put him up there and go to work.
No, that was really nice. There was a period where I was sort of ping-ponging back and forth between staying in the studio and touring, and then also doing live stuff with Peter and doing some touring stuff with him. It was good.
Here comes the man so illustrious, tickling keys. David Sancious.